best of 3. TT now 1-0 up in the advantage. We're going to jump straight into the rift. We are, I think, about still 15 or so minutes behind the live broadcast, so we're hopefully going to be able to catch ourselves up. Either it goes to a game 3, or we'll just know exactly if TT can get themselves a 2-0. But I mean, the feeling for me anyway coming into the second game is that I feel like I need to see, you know, a little bit more kind of priority in that. I was going to say top side, Shanji back on the Cassante. That's what I want to be seeing.
OMG with Aki on Kindred as well. This is a very interesting looking draft. A lot of agency, I feel like, across the board on multiple different lanes for both sides here. So I'm excited to see how this early game gets rolling as we get into game number 2. TT might have a lot on their plate as well, dealing with Nico at the same time, battling on Lambda Spite, and then also having to be kind of weary about a Nico ultimate. Something I imagine TT are going to be quite scared of, as again, passion loud in the Shanghai arena.
Just let the ambiance come in. Take a chill. We had a pretty chaotic game number 1. Pretty chaotic game number 3 in WERNG as well. We've kind of been riding a lot of energy, but now we have an opportunity to take a deep breath, relax, see what I would hope to see. It's a much better performance from OMG. Again, a lot of OMG believers in the chats, as you know, having such a great start to the season, 8-4. They would love to go 9-4, and we kind of look towards their last 3 series that they will have to play. It's not the easiest of runs for them. They play AL, which should be fine. You're going to see the flash in now on this bot side. The cleanse gets burned away straight away by Abel. He's getting taken very, very low, but not going to die. Just getting the 2 summoners out there from the TT bot side, and Abel's going to be forced into an early reset.
Yeah, it's not a good start though, is it? First wave reset. Not ideal. Still has his flash though, so at the end of the day, even if Beichuan comes down here, should still be able to get away from a fair amount of aggression as long as the reaction times are good from Abel. But I think looking at adaptation for this game number 2, you know what? I'm actually really glad that the big man's here because it helps out my point. I am not surprised at all in the slightest that Kai'Sa was removed away here.
And the Poppy.
And the Poppy. Very, very big issues, but OMG will, at the very least, still make it into this game too with a lot of power picks on their side, right? So I think TT still have to be a little bit meticulous about their approach. What's the replay of this level 1 trade? It's the level 1 trade, so we have our eyes on Ppgod. So the observers and the Chinese sidecasters clearly feel a little bit upset about him. What is it? What did he do? It's because he's, I guess, because he skilled Q. I don't know.
Possibly
I guess to be fair, if Ppgod skilled any other skill, he probably would have been a little bit more useful in that trade. But
yeah, look, don't skill something up until you have to. It's kind of the rule. It's kind of the rule of thumb.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the observers are often quite harsh, but it's for good reason normally. Oh no.
Another flash in, Ppgod. Not gonna go down though, and he keeps his flash available to him as well. Also kept with Ignite, so no one except for Beichuan losing a summoner in that trade. Again, it's kind of an equal trade for the moment in favor of OMG, and now Beichuan. Oh, never mind, that was the Nico clone.
It's not an awkward trade. Oh, wait, Beichuan doesn't have smite, but Aki doesn't want to flip it, so it's not gonna go for the. It was the mark, don't forget. They're actually going to lift the IL. No flash, remember, so this should be a free burst down.
Should be able to get him down. That should be a first blood confirmed. OMG getting themselves on the board nice and early.
All right, not bad. First blood, I believe, went into Aki's back pocket. My memory's terrible. And we've got pop-ups, of course. So, yeah, there you go. Hey, Aki gets first blood. It's going to accelerate him, and Kindred can certainly take over games. Curious about the build. He's got that recurve bow and the longsword, so I think he's going towards the Kraken Slayer first. We've seen a lot of Trinity Force as well out of Kindred's as Beichuan. Really predict the flash? Nope. Just forces the flash out of Creme. Bad, not bad. Nico, I feel like one of the few lanes which, you know, we talk about LeBlanc being really oppressive in the first sort of maybe 10, 15 minutes, especially once she picks up the stack Shiv, right? It covers so many of that champion's weaknesses. Nico, one of the few champions, it feels like, that can kind of just backhand the lane almost entirely. And you can start to see already kind of accrue in the CS department, up almost 10 Cremers, so doing a really good job in the early stages, despite being forced out with that flash.
And look, we'll wait to see if there's any kind of other shenanigans. I would like to see maybe a re-gank on this bot side from the side of Aki. You know, you don't have a flash here on Yuya. Ooh.
I'm going to be honest. Where was brother aiming? Because
yeah, that wasn't even close.
Did he want it over the wall in front of the track? Hard to know. Hard to know. Either way, that ward is giving him no information at all.
Negative information, because it might even make you think that you have information when you don't. You ever do that? You ever like, oh, there's a ward here that's giving me information in the brush? No, it's not.
All the time. All the time.
It's almost a detriment to you, in my opinion, to have that kind of thing happen. But look, happens to the best of us, including Shanji. And this is why I'm kind of looking at this one here, is that Shanji is definitely someone who can make something out of nothing. We'll see if he's able to kind of work with this top lane deficit for the moment. We are going to see Hoya trying, just keep putting the pressure in on top of him. While on the bot side, Aki thinking about maybe going for this early dragon. It would be very OMG-esque of him if he were to do it. As Creme and Ucal just going to keep trading back. Double tethers means that it's a basically even trade. And look, nothing else really to be kind of said or done about it.
Yep, nope. Ucal does a good job of equalizing that trade, right? 8 the tangle barbs, 8 up the root. Just does a good job of making sure that doesn't go unpunished on the side of Creme. Aki, what's he eyeing up for? Is he just anticipating Beichuan will be here in a moment? Is he eyeing up aggression himself? I feel like it's going to be quite hard to pick up Ucal here without extreme levels of aggression, potentially overreaching. Big, long extended look at the mid lane, because I feel like action was definitely brewing. Nice, brought everyone to the top side, but Hoya's not really a gankable target at this moment in time. Very, very slow early game. Neither team really wants the dragon. I think the bottom lane matchup is too volatile, but oh, okay. Yeah, duh. It's Kindred. Mark will spawn on this Skullcraft. That's what everyone's eyeing up.
So there was no camps up.
No camps up. Skullcraft spawns. That'll be the spawn. Now everything is up for Aki, so he can go back to base. Or rather, back to his jungle. Pick up all of those camps. Feel quite happy about it. And we'll get the ball rolling, right? Needs those first 4 marks ASAP as the Kindred. Lost out on the lottery in the first couple of scuttles as, will he get it? He will. Too scared. The invade will just fizzle out to dud.
And look, Jamada. It's obviously a much more tempered start to the game, as we can see. Look, it's a Cassante. I don't think he's going to be going down. If anything, he looked like he was about to take out Hoya, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it looked like for a minute there. I think what happened is Shanji, even though he cast the Pathmaker, was still stunned up by the... I don't know if it was empowered or not, but by Hoya. And it meant that he couldn't also cast the All Out, which would have brought Hoya even further underneath the tower. Would have been really awkward for a moment there. Doesn't work out in the end. And go ahead, Oisin, because you're thinking what I'm thinking. It's a slow early game. OMG are probably going to get this Herald because this rotation looks pretty soundproof. And 1xN and the rest of TT are a little bit slow to the punch if they do want to contest this.
Or do they want to just go for a fight? This is the thing. OMG have kind of full knowledge of everything. Beichuan walking forward, but he has got his sweeper to scout out that someone was waiting off in the banana bush. Rift Herald is going to be secured, so Shelly goes over to the side of OMG. Knocked back onto Hoya. He does pop the Dominus, but he is dead. Shanji strikes again, and that's going to be another clean kill. And honestly, there wasn't really a need for that kill to go over, as Ppgod now finds himself in a position where he can go right back to Creme. And I mean, TT are trying to force something that's not there.
I'm going to be honest, that was a frustration play from TT, wasn't it? Like, flash over the wall from Yuya. They just wanted something in return. The fact that they committed so many resources to the top side, just go across the map the dragon and play it on bot side, guys. Like, you're never getting in there. But OMG don't care. They're laughing to the bank with all of the time that they just gained. Dragon will go over, but, like, again, it's so late, and they're not even going to lose plates for it. So it's just one dragon. Doesn't feel like it's the worst thing in the world. Abel might even pick up a plate up here. And Aki's coming up here to potentially dive Shanji. Remember, no Dominus, has flash, and Aki's marked him, so it could just be a rundown, to be honest with you. He's got no support for a while. Doesn't want to flip it, just sends out the one arrow.
It's just very funny seeing that. Just like, here he goes. He's got a mark. He has no flash or no ultimate, and then it's just like, boop. Littlest of pews. And honestly, I like this play coming out from OMG, recognizing, look, we don't need to reset all the way straight away. We just need to gonna keep funneling in plates right now into Abel, who honestly straight up just had a really poor showing in game number 1 on the Aphelios. Did like less than 10k damage, I think, of the final amount. So really not stepping up to the kind of caliber that we see from the Aphelios so far in most of this year.
And just Abel's own personal expectations, right? Like, Abel can sometimes, depending on who you're talking to, be in the conversation as like one of those AD carries that at ceiling can contest some of the best here on their normal days. He really does push the boundaries of what AD carries are often allowed to do. So yeah, definitely kind of sad to see him underperform in game number 1, and hopefully he has a little bit more room to maneuver in a game like this. I feel like he's going to be able to do that because for OMG, the composition is, in my mind, a lot more about kind of standing their ground, right? And I feel like Aphelios is probably, alongside Zaya, actually, probably one of the best AD carries at dealing with, I wouldn't say dealing with diving comps, but more in the sense of if he's got the space to deal with divers, i.e. he's not the main focus, he will shred those diving members, arguably fastest in the game, right? So, Abel is afforded that space. I do imagine he will certainly have quite a few pop-off moments, but for TT, so far, haven't really been able to find a favorable skirmish at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, definitely need to start looking relatively soon. Because again, they're the ones, in my mind, who the onus is going to be on to engage. Because OMG are the ones that are never really going to look to go in unless it just looks too damn favorable.
Aki sitting on a ward here, just going to drop down the Rift Herald. That should be at least 2 plates, possibly even 3, if they can get any more damage down onto it. But for the moment, just going to be those 2 confirmed and given over to Abel and Aki. This is what I like to see now, kind of get this Aphelios more accelerated. Beichuan now looking to try and make a cross map, but it's into a Cassante. Just don't think it's very viable, and especially when he's already getting himself up to that, you know, massive amounts of armor with the Ninja Tabbies and, of course, the Bramble Vest. Yeah, I think this is wise on the side of TT. You're just not going to be able to kill him.
This is just so awkward from the perspective of TT. Can't really make a play mid. Creme is a little bit too difficult to gank, and you never really know where Aki's going to be. So, you gank mid, you could run into a 2v2, or, God forbid, Ppgod's on the map. A 3 versus 2. Can't really dive Cassante, because he's that champion, and bottom lane is probably the only place where you can find an angle, but it feels like they've not really looked to force plays there, so need to see something from TT soon. They picked up the first dragon, so I guess that's great, but again, it was such a late dragon that Soul's not really going to be an issue that OMG are going to be worried about anytime soon, as Hoya is still marked by Aki. Oh, Hoya. Oh.
Yeah, and that's why they know they can go for him, but still difficult to really make this one stick. A flash for flash. Hoya keeps himself alive, and that's honestly good for the side of TT, because Shanji is only kind of as dangerous as his all-out, so not having access to that's going to be a little bit harder to kind of confirm. Speaking of confirming, Beichuan just trying to see if he could get some confirmed vision with this Scuttle Crab, but Abel and Ppgod very much in a position to contest that, so not going to let that one go over. And it's still a 2,000 gold lead here for the side of OMG, as the plates will be falling in the next 30 seconds. So, minute till dragon spawns. What do you want to see from either of these two sides? Because it's been, for lack of a better term, it's been slow. It's been a bit of a very, very slow early game. Where do you want to see both these teams kind of ideally look to try and get their advantages?
Ashin, mate, we're both professionals. We can say it's been a pretty boring early game. It's
yeah,
all right.
It is.
It's not friends. The most action-packed in the world. Everyone's friends here. Everyone's pretty chill with one another. But yeah, I feel like if you're OMG, just try and make sure you're set up around this dragon by the time it spawns up. Make sure that TT don't have access first. Deny them that luxury. But it will be a little bit more difficult now that Ucal's got that static shiv. He's had it for a while. That mid lane priority can be something that can be secured very quickly. Even, I was going to say, even though we're on 13-13, we're not still on 13-12.
No,
so
not till Monday.
Not till Monday. So buff shiv, still very much a thing. You can see on the minimap, like he dashes forward, autos. Oh, never mind. Shanji, I mean, he's not dead though, is he?
No.
Or is he?
I don't think he is. He doesn't have the all-out, but he doesn't have a really kind of pressure on him, and he's just kind of taking Beichuan, who commits the Heartbreaker. Finally, Ucal makes his way up top side, and that is going to be the decision making that you want to be seeing from TT. Does mean, though, they give up that dragon, so killing that top side to kill out the Cassante in trade for the objective. I mean, like you said earlier, they're not exactly close to a soul anytime soon.
Nope. And again, I favor OMG's composition in the way that a lot of team fights tend to break out. I feel like stand your ground compositions tend... Do you know what I think it is? I actually think stand your ground type compositions are broken into LPL because they just love going in. Let's see how TT stand their ground, though.
Stand your ground. TP's coming in. Pop Blossom is up. And it's down, but the feathers are massive. They do trade 1-for-1, but I don't think Shanji's getting out this one alive. It's a 2-for-1 trade, as the rest of OMG know if Ucal gets one auto attack off, it could be over. One good static shift proc. He doesn't want to commit to it. I feel like he could have went forward for that, but Ucal knows what's riding on this series, what's riding on this game. The potential to keep your playoff hopes alive. They need a 2-0.
Yeah, that W was still on cooldown as well, right? He dashed forward once, had to wait for it again, didn't have the R, used it underneath the tower dive, didn't want to commit a flash and potentially ruin things on the back end of this play. Comically, we were talking about standing our ground. TT do just that. Feathers, how many does 1xN get on the ground? There's a couple from the Q, a couple of autos as well. Everyone gets hit by the Pop Blossom, but that pullback hits crucially onto every member that was diving underneath the tower. Abel just also isn't capable of actually sending out enough damage as well. So again, a little bit overzealous from OMG, and again, they're not really the ones that need to be looking for plays like that. It's TT that realistically need to be looking for more aggressive plays in my mind, but hey, OMG look to push the envelope. They get punished for it. They do get this tier 1 in the mid lane though with the Herald, which they secured earlier on because, oh no, so rather TT pick up the Herald in trade as well, so it kind of goes from bad to a little bit worse for OMG. Looking for this top tier 1 now in trade. But I feel like Ucal, it's not all of the wave. You might be able to get a fair amount. Oh, never mind. This champion is ridiculous with this item, isn't she?
Yeah. I mean, until we move to 13-13, where the static shift nerfs come in, I just don't see us be able to kind of get anything there. Creme going to use the Pop Blossom defensively. Putting a fair bit of damage back onto Beichuan. Dominus was pocked by Hoya, so everyone backs themselves away. But it feels like it's TT building a bit of momentum right now. It doesn't look like OMG are feeling comfortable. It feels like right now it's TT deciding when things are happening, deciding when the plays are being made. And Shanji kind of caught between a rock and a hard place with his build means that he's just a little bit too far away from actually finishing anything. And actually disrupting that back might actually mean that we see the top turret go down for free because you're not going to have the rotations.
Yep. If TT wanted to. If TT were on the ball right here, they'll just send Yao Yao and 1xN towards the top lane, but 1xN, it seems like, has a little bit of gold to spend. Ucal, however, I think can just take this in his face. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything Shanji can do. Acknowledgement there, starts to yield. Ucal wants a bit more. That chain's going to go wide, though. We'll just go back. And you know what, actually, for me, the obnoxious part about Shiv, and I don't know why they didn't change it, is just how Energize stacks. Like, it just shouldn't stack off blinks. I think it's fine to stack off dashes, because that's technically movement.
But blinks is a bit much.
Blink distance is absurd. But yeah, anyway. They decided to just guard the item. I think that works too.
You know what? I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, sure, you know, whatever. Because then it just fixes the problem. And then LeBlanc can still build Shiv. And it's, you know, it's probably still best in slot. But it's certainly not as oppressive as it is in its current state. On live, that is, of course.
It's very fair.
Yeah, I think that would have been the fairer of the changes. But who am I?
You know what? Get this man on the dev team. Get this man on the dev team. That's what I say. Soon, Jamada, soon. I know you have absolutely no intentions or will to ever be part of the dev team, but I'll make it happen.
I'll be honest. I would enjoy being on the dev team, I feel like. I wouldn't mind balancing. Or like having a hand at trying to balance some aspects of League
being part of the discussions.
Yeah, you know?
They do that. They do talk to the casters every now and again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting kind of setup of like where they're going and what they think is working and stuff like that. Generally more so towards the LCS and LEC casters, naturally,
yeah,
as they are more the more mainstays. But yeah, I mean it's good.
Just
yeah, I am just a random. Ooh, ignore, please. We'll wait to see. not talking about development, not talking about how the game will be changing, because we have a game that is ever changing happening in front of us right now.
Wow, what a
2,000
smooth
gold
segue.
lead. Oh, I'm a professional.
Master of your craft, Oisin. Master of your craft.
You won't see me slipping, but we might see Creme having a little bit of a slip. He does pop the pop blossom there. The Heartbreaker to try and put down the damage. Stopwatch does get used. This is going to be a second dragon, though, you would imagine, to try and come in. There will be a trade back for the moment. Shanji did TP up to try and save his top laner, or his mid laner who was in top. And that's just a dragon traded here, and you can see just how oppressive this LeBlanc is, especially with the double buffs.
Exactly. Very obnoxious. Ucal, how much damage you deal? Like, it's so silly. Like this poke variant, I guess. Anyway, like you mentioned, OMG picked up the dragon, so that's going to be for the good of them. And it just again, it pushes TT further and further away from picking up Assault. Replaying. I mean, the dive's pretty clean. They almost one-shot Creme through everything. I want to highlight Beichuan's usage of the Heartbreaker as well. Through the CC. Doesn't get knocked up. Obviously still gets stunned, but ignoring that first part of the CC, very crucial. If Ucal didn't flash forward and get him, which I feel like this is why... Oh wow. So if you're wondering why the zoom-in was, Ucal actually dashed back, or rather blinked back to the distortion, cancels Shanji's all-out cancel. Or a channel, rather.
Yeah.
So, real nice timing there. Intentional or not. Squeaks his way out. Doesn't end up dying. TT don't get that tower, though. Crucially. Still looking for that. But he is still going to be a menace on the side lane. No one can match him. He's almost level 15 already. You can see in the bottom left his XP bar. Very, very accelerated. There goes the wave. Bye-bye. He's going to take the cannon, hit 15. No one can match him. Big, big problem for OMG. So... I wonder if they're going to consider starting up a Baron sooner rather than later.
It feels like they have to.
In this strange turn of events, TT are actually up several thousand gold, and it's actually a real gold lead, right? We've spoken quite a few times about fake gold leads today, but 2 items available to 1xN across the table. Abel has the exact same... I didn't mean for that to rhyme. Abel has the exact same amount of gold. And Ucal, of course, up in the mid lane, and so is Beichuan against Aki, so something has to happen relatively soon. I mean, I guess for Aki, he's quite close to the Triforce, so can close the gap in the itemization soon, but right now, TT can flex their muscles a bit if they can find an angle for a team fight. But it's just about whether or not they're willing to pull the trigger, because they have been hesitant, apprehensive,
Jamada,
you know?
I have an update for you. We've been having some funky builds today. Radiant Virtue on Ppgod.
Yeah, sure.
Going towards it. Using that 3 assists he got to himself. I don't have a problem with it, but it's definitely not, you know, the standard, shall we say. That's a very, like, relatively tanky Rakan.
I will say, given that, again, OMG and the way that they're likely to play team fights, if TT ever allow them to happen, that is very much going to be like a very stand your ground type playstyle. It's going to be very much, hey, you know, we're in this area first, or hopefully we're in this area first, so we're going to look to just basically play off Lambda Spite and play off things like the Pot Blossom and so forth. I guess the Radiant Virtue, if Rakan is standing on top of everyone and he presses his R key, then, you know, that burst of healing is going to be nice.
For sure.
Do I feel like Shirelia's would probably be...
I was just about to say, I think Shirelia's Battle Song is better.
Is probably better. Yes.
And
but
cheap,
again,
well, it's
look,
cheaper a little bit.
I'm always happy to see, you know...
Innovation.
Yes, perfect word. Innovation from our players here. And especially if you can, at the very least, understand the innovation, right? It's not...
Yes.
I don't know why this one game... Do you remember when Light was playing Lucian and he went like Rapid Fire Cannon Collector and it was like 3 tanks? You know exactly what game it is. Like, you know, you can't understand that innovation. You understand this innovation, and this is certainly innovation from OMG, picking up or trying to pick up the Baron over here.
Yeah, and a 1v1 they're losing, so they're trying to like force this off of him right now. Beichuan may just be able to get himself Heartbreaker over the wall. Full summoners available for everybody available in this pit. The Baron down at 3,000 HP, 2,000. What is stolen? OMG will not be getting themselves that buff, and now you can see Ppgod really utilizing that extra Radiant Virtue health to keep himself alive, but for how long? As TT find Hoya right on the back. Hello, dearies. How are you doing today? TT are smashing OMG. There's no other words for it, and the Miracle Run is still alive and well.
It's still alive. They've got Baron and multiple members dead. This could be an inhibitor if they can chunk this tower quick enough. It's 1 minion. Beichuan's going to tank it up. They'll get through this HP bar. Not sure they'll get the inhib, but the work will be mostly done here for TT. They can recall. Even get this tier 2. Maybe no. Wow, 1xn tempo recall. Maybe Ucal finish it off instead. Yeah, not an issue at all. OMG, they're on the cusp of losing another series. Back to back. In a race where you would have looked at this schedule and you would have assumed that this would have been a relatively simple series. TT on good form or not, but I don't know. Looking for the flip here. Aki almost had it timed up perfectly, but couldn't quite find the third auto attack with the smite. Beichuan wins out, and then they're just all in the pit. No one can really survive. Aki, Shanji as well. Everyone just dies. Everyone's caught out in really awkward angles. Now they can get this dragon after breaking the base on the top side, and then look to siege. Probably alongside Ucal. Just let Ucal poke out. He's level 18 at 25 minutes in the game. 283 CS. He's been an absolute machine on this LeBlanc. This is why you see it banned so frequently right now on this patch. You just don't want to have to deal with it. But fortunately, OMG did not get that memo.
Assassinations. It does everything. It does absolutely everything. As, again, TT, this is exceptional. Like, I really do think that, praise where praise is due. This team looked like it was completely washed comparatively to its spring performance. A lot of people, Lyric in particular, was a big Ucal and TT enjoyer. And it did feel like they were just kind of lost. They didn't know where they were going. It didn't really kind of come together for them. They tried to make a change in the bot side that, as you mentioned earlier on, wasn't sticking that great, wasn't looking that, great of a change. But 1xn really stepping up, and the rest of the team as well. Beichuan, Ucal finally showing out that they can play cohesively as a team. It's not just Ucal versus the world, it's Ucal and the team. It's everyone on TT finally coming good at the best possible time. But whether or not they're going to make it to playoffs is a different story. They would only technically be one series behind the NIP with this win, and that's when things start to get a little bit hectic.
It's the kind of fairy tale that you hope has a happy ending. Yet to be seen. I can't break open the base on this Baron. I'm just going to look for a recall. OMG, I guess hold fast for now, but they're still 10,000 gold down, so a big, big gap to close. Fortunately, a lot of it is actually in the mid lane. So if Ucal can be shut down, you can actually see a fairly even fight from OMG, but as I say it, obviously TT just based. So
gold.
Yeah. Let's see where the items lie now. They look relatively even. So again, this gold lead is predominantly sat in Ucal's back pocket right now. OMG, it's not the end of it. If they take a 4v4 and Ucal's not involved, it might as well just be even gold. Just so everyone's clear, there's a couple of obvious stat differences, right? Beichuan has that extra chain vest and that stopwatch.
Levels. Creme. Creme. You can't flash away from that tether. We'll go into stasis, though. That Zonya's been proving invaluable later on the game, but that's going to be the inhibitor broken down. Hoya on the bot side, pushing in. Mid lane, down to below half HP. OMG, they're getting suffocated. They don't know where they go, so they're going to go for a one last ditch effort. It's one last fight with the TP of days. A TP coming in, though, from the Renekton to make sure that TT do not get caught out. They haven't spotted out Ucal, but he doesn't have a flash, which means he gets absolutely no damage off on his Pop Blossom. They have to pop the Lamb's Respite. That keeps Hoya and Yao Yao alive. Soon as it's popped, they're going to go for it as a TP from Ucal right on the backside because he knew there was no escape. Abel trying his absolute hardest, but the TT Miracle Run is alive and well, and they will take a 2-0 over OMG.
2-0, the win streak continues for OMG. Oh, for TT. The loss streak it is for OMG. And it's elation for TT fans as the dream stays alive.
What an run now from TT. 3 wins in a row. 3 big wins in a row against teams that you would argue maybe one of them they should be beating. They shouldn't have been beating EDG. They shouldn't have been smashing OMG. And they now go into the final week with 2 series left. Now sitting